Good afternoon. We're in Parsons. We're at the Parsons Historical Society.
Right.
And I'm here today with Ken Ervin. Ervin or Ervin?
It's E-R-V-I-N, Ervin.
Ervin, Ken Ervin. And Ken has been instrumental in everything that goes on at this museum and at the Arboretum here in Parsons. And I wanted to take an opportunity to let him tell me something about the museum and about his involvement with it. And we're going to take us a little time here and just walk through the museum. Ken, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
I'm 97 years old, and I've been a member of this museum for more than 35 years. And this is a Boy Scout display we made. And I was a scout leader for 20-some years, and I was a silver beaver.
Is this you said this was
That's
your
my uniform.
As a scout leader?
And I went to the World Jamboree in 1957, and I have all the different scout badges. And not only was I an Eagle Scout, but Silver Beaver is the highest award you can get as a volunteer. And this is my son's uniform.
This is the Boy Scout uniform that your
Yeah.
son wore right here.
And this is his Cub Scout uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And in the early days, they had Sea Scouts. And I also was a member of Sea Scout Ship 333 Katy in 1940. And this here is my...
Well, I've never seen some of these badges here. This one in the
That's my
corner,
Boy
what's
Scout
that?
one.
All right. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. Oh, you got all these badges. Are
Yeah.
these all your badges
We
or your
had
son's?
one of the scouts, Bill Brewer, that every year he made a different badge, and then we had them made where the kids could wear them.
That's great.
Okay, let's move over in the others, and I'll show you more scout stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go over here and turn the lights on, but we're going that way.
We're going this way here, huh?
Yeah, so just
Alrighty.
a minute.
Well, we're in the museum here now, in the main museum. It's huge, and there's lots of stuff here from all over. Oh my goodness. There's no way we're going to cover all of this today, but I want you to get an idea of what's here. And you do keep regular hours here on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
That's right.
And you can
We
come
do
over
it
here and
from,
look through this. You'll see
April till October.
from April to October.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And here's some more scout stuff. These are all different cups. There's one of my Explorer uniforms, and that's my son's. And this and then I've got I show all the different kinds of backpacks, the scout troops. And in 1957, we went to the World Jamboree in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania.
and this is you.
This is the tent I slept in.
All right, at Valley Forge. So you slept at Valley Forge.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
And when we were Explorer Scouts, this here's a Explorer uniform. That was mine. And then these different things I got from different people.
Wow.
This museum we built on, and this was the last next to the last room we made, it started here and goes back to that wall. And when Mr. Stybie was fire chief, he gave us this fire truck, and I drove it in here. And then when we were I had a Boy Scout troop, and we did Indian dancing, and we made this teepee here. And I fixed this teepee so we could have a fire inside.
Uh-huh.
And the control broke, and I'm in the process of putting a new control in it. But that would light up, and the kids could push a button, and it would run for 5 minutes, and then it'd turn off. So, and this is one of the newest displays we got. Rich Priel, who just retired from a state representative.
Okay. Oh, and that's a little thing from his office.
Yeah.
And that was at the State House in Topeka. How do you like that? Oh, look at the hot air balloon.
This airplane is a replica, it's half size, of an ATC-6 in World War II that flew out of Coffeyville as an Army plane and out of Independence as a Navy plane. And that's the reason they built the airport west of Parsons, was a landing and taking off. And me and Merlin made that airplane.
You made this?
Yeah, and it's made out of balsa wood, and it weighs 27 pounds.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
That's
well,
amazing.
You look, see how I got it hanging?
It's hung by wires, just a few little wires holding the whole thing up.
Yeah.
27 pounds. Is this from a circus here, this sign?
Oh.
What is this, an advertising sign?
I tell you where that came from. The Methodist Church at Strauss gave us that, and they used to have a stage.
Uh-huh.
And then behind the stage, it was about 8 feet where they could put on
It's
programs.
a backdrop, yeah.
Yeah. And so this Code's welding, I knew Mr. Code, because he run a welding shop in Parsons. Right now we're at the alley where the Labette Bank is.
Okay. Well, it just caught my eye. I thought that's a real nice piece there. Nice piece of work.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is all the records, the voting records, when they kept them in books of everybody that voted from the beginning. And the county gave us these, and so we've got them on 2 sides. And if you know what precinct and what ward and precinct is in, you look it up and see where who voted and when.
It doesn't tell what they voted for, just that they voted, right?
Yeah.
And this is the plane that you made? This is a little bit about it?
This is the one that Merlin made, ATC-6. In fact, this one is half the size. And you can see the balsa. See, that's all balsa wood.
And these are all pictures of the model. There's no picture of the original
Yeah.
here. Okay, and then I'm going to turn around here and give you one more look at the plane. All right, good. All right, and now we're headed back into the next room.
This was the last room we built on to this building, because next to it is the Railroad Museum, and we raised money. Let me show you the.
Okay. Well, look at there. There's the old soapbox.
Here's people that donated money to build this room and everything in it.
Okay. I'll try and take a picture of that.
That'd be pretty hard.
Oh, you never know. Okay.
And so what we did, this is a storage room, and this is Merlin Taylor when he went in the feed and fertilizing business. You know, he had quite an operation. Did you know Merlin?
No, I didn't.
Well, he's still alive. His wife died. But in 1950, this is the very first sacking machine he made. And then he made them all automatic. But in his business, he made machines that filled breakfast food, where they'd want to put so many ounces of this and so many ounces of that.
Uh-huh.
And these big machines would automatically pick the bag up, fill the bag, and seal the bag. And he did it for all the manufacturers that were manufacturing breakfast food. And also he had a line where he filled bags of dog feed and cattle feed. And this is the very first bagger he had, which it was.
I like this. This bag is completely made, and they've got it set so it just opens up by stretching it there, and the machine shoots it in there.
Yeah.
And then I guess it must be glued back down together, huh? After that.
But he made, and this is a miniature one, and you know, he even made them and sold them to Japan. And so there's a bunch of people from Japan that came, and he had an airplane, and he'd fly all over the country.
And his name is, what'd you say his name was?
Merlin Taylor.
Merlin Taylor.
Yeah.
And this was his business? Taylor Liquid Feed?
It's still operating, and they're making a lot of different things. Now they make bags that 4 bags can go on a railroad car full of grain and ship it overseas.
Oh, it makes big bags, so they can probably makes it easier to move that way.
That's right. So he's doing that now. And Labette Bank.
Where are you looking now?
I don't know if you know Bill Wyckoff that runs Labette Bank.
I'm afraid I don't know. You know, I worked in Parsons for 25 years, but I...
Well, he's the president of all Labette banks.
Oh, okay.
And he gave us this bank here.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, you got this desk and everything, huh?
And his dad started the banking business in 1915. And there's the vault door that was off of the bank in Altamont. And now they have banks all over.
Up in the other section, you had a much older bank, didn't you? No, you had some sort of maybe
a safe.
A safe. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that safe came out of upstairs of the used to be the First National Bank. And so he gave us all this, and this here is the early days when this here had a top to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I see there's, windows up there or something. Yeah.
And this is out of that Altamont.
All right.
And then I made these mannequins. I didn't make these 2 mannequins.
But you dressed them.
But now I'm in the process of doing that. Let me turn on the light. This is business and manufacturing companies. And so I've wrote a lot of stories, and this is the beginning of 1957, a Twin Valley at Altamont, and they're still operating. And so this is some of the first stuff with them. And then in the early 1800s, Labette City was larger than Parsons.
And where was Labette City?
And these here, there was 3 brothers that came to the United States from Germany in the early 1800s, and they started out in Chicago, and their parents sent them to here because they didn't want to be in the French Revolutionary War. And so I wrote a story on them, and this was their store in Labette City, and today the foundation of this store is still there. But up above it was the Oddfellows Lodge 488. And so in today, in 21, I talked to the mayor of Labette City and a bunch of people that lived there. And so the Rebos were real early people in this area. And this is where they're buried in Labette City. And then I did a story on neighborhood grocery stores in Parsons. You know, we used to have one every few blocks. And now I have a list of all of them, the grocery stores. At one time we had 58 neighborhood grocery stores between 1920 and 50 because people didn't drive cars. They walked to the grocery store. And today we've got out of the 58, I did have how many we had still standing. But
Some of these buildings are still there.
All these are still standing. I went around and took pictures of them.
Okay.
And this is a guy that was a real supporter, and his dad was the scoutmaster, Dan Devine, and this is about their family. And in 1927, he was an Eagle Scout in Troop 8 at the St. Pat's Church in Parsons. And he's a Silver Beaver and a scoutmaster. And this is where they borrowed a Katy truck for the kids to all go camping. And then the peat filling stations. You know all the peat filling stations?
I'd heard of them. No,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know much about them.
Anyway, I did a story on Pete's.
Oh, Pete's. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know Pete's.
Yeah. So this is his truck stop, and then on the back side, when I did this, he had 25 stores that were open 24 hours a day. And you know, him and his dad started with one station in Erie, Kansas.
Oh, I remember in that same station right on the highway there.
That's right.
Yeah, and they've taken over now the truck stop, the gas station at Cherokee, and they said they're going to make a truck stop out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still expanding.
And this is a history. My grandpa had an automobile store on Main Street. In 1903, that was a Rio car, and this here was a cigar store, and this was a cleaning and pressing. And today, this part here you can see the top, in the top here. This is a jewelry store, and believe it or not, here's a cigar store. That's today.
So they're still selling cigars.
Yeah.
Well, that's real nice.
Inflation Company was a big company.
What was the name of it?
And my dad had the first
Oh, the
commercial
first
radio
company.
station in the city of, in the state of Kansas. And I remember when the fire in the Orpheum Theater burned, because my dad had a shop right across the street, and there was a Conoco service station there. And the next morning, this here was going to fall in, and the fire department took their ladder wagon down, and a guy got up on it and started punching them rocks out, and the ladder wagon broke, and he fell to the ground and killed him. And I was there and saw that.
Oh, golly.
So this is the Orpheum Theater. But the story I want to tell you, now where that Orpheum Theater was, is the Parsonian Hotel, and this is a parking lot. And when my dad had his radio station in 1922, he had a windmill tower 12 feet high on top of this, and he had over here on the Kansas Power and Light Company at 1809 Broadway, he had another tower, and upstairs is where he had his radio station that he'd come on every night and advertise.
Good deal. And that was on, and this building here, Orpheum Theater, that's this building here.
This is the Orpheum Theater.
And this here, this is a
This
different,
is the Orpheum Theater after it caught fire and burned.
this is that same building.
That's right.
Oh, it's from the other angle. I see the
Yeah,
circles
see
now
back
up there.
here?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
now I see it's the same building. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this building here is still there. It's a beer joint today.
Okay. All righty.
And then we've got all the displays in this room was built by a team of men, and this is the Masonic Lodge, and my dad was and I was a Mason, and we belonged to Knight Templar, and that was my dad's uniform at Knight Templar when they used to march in different towns. Here, let me turn the light on.
And he's got a nice badge there with a bunch of Dodge City, Pittsburgh, Wichita, Galena, all these different cities. Were those at Knight Templar, is that in charge? It's over the other lodges, over the blue lodges.
Yeah.
And these were the different. Were these
Yeah.
the different lodges that they were over?
Yeah, Blue Lodge, I'm still a member of the Blue Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Masons when I was 21. And that was my dad's uniform. And I have my uniform at home.
Oh, and there's your shrine. This is your Arab stuff.
This is just some of the different Masonic.
Yeah, these are Shriners wear that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, huh? Yeah, and here's your Bahia and Mirza shrine.
And I belong to the Mirza Temple in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Oh, you see that Sputnik?
Yes, sir.
When that was popular, my dad made that, and I've got a electric motor scooter underneath it that we made. It used to have a gas engine when and we put 3 batteries in it, and in 1918 started a generator off of a Dodge, and so when you push the button, it'd go. And when you turn the button off, it'd die, it'd stop.
Just so you could, just enough battery
so
power to
in
get you through the parade.
1960, I drove that in the parade at Pittsburgh in the Shrine Parade.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
And this here over here is my dad's business, or my business, I guess I should say, when I was in the automotive business. And my dad was real good. Here's a machine we made to wind electric motors windings on. And in 2000, in April 2000, the tornado, this is my building, and here it is afterwards.
That's right. I was working here in town when that happened. I wasn't here in town. I was out of town, but I worked in Parsons at that time.
My grandpa, the first cars he sold were Briscoe. And then this is and we sold campers and boats and motors. And we had a boat show every year for a number of years. And then
That's not 3 generations of Ervin family business.
yeah,
From livery stable to automotive repair, serving Parsons for 94 years. And there's Charles E. Shorty Ervin, Claude and Rose Ervin, and Kenneth L. Ervin.
yeah.
Well, now, oh, that was the years you operated that business.
Yeah.
And that's you at the bottom there. That's not when you die. That's when you quit doing business. Huh? That's when you run the business. Good. Ervin Garage.
Oh, here's a picture of this motor scooter.
Uh-huh.
It was a Cushman, and we put batteries in it and had it rebuilt at Labette County High School. I did all the welding. And that clock is the clock that was our time clock in the business when the tornado hit, and that's when the electricity went off.
At 9 minutes to 9.
Yeah. And these are all different kind of instruments my dad made when we was winding electric motors.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then this here, here's some of our early day boat shows that we used to have.
Uh-huh.
We'd have them every spring. These are 2 of my daughters. And this Dwight Kiefer, he was going to Pittsburgh State, and he'd come over and demonstrate how to fish and fishing poles and fishing rods. And he was in a real bad accident, and then he moved to Arizona, and he came back to look at these pictures, and a guy that he used to fish with in the pits that went to Pittsburgh with him, and he decided to move back to Parsons, and now he lives in the high-rise in Parsons.
Okay.
And he still sells antique tackle and fishing poles. And these are a lot of the different muzzle loaders and fish and tackle people. These were the state
Wildlife, Department of Wildlife?
wildlife people.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And this is when I got a load of boats. It was 26 below zero.
Oh my goodness.
And the load of boats were $26,000. And to get them out of Little Falls, Minnesota, it cost $900. That wasn't bad then.
That wasn't bad. Okay.
Oh, this here, my grandpa on 1720 Washington had the first gasoline pump that was on the street. They used to have it in barrels, and this was inside where people didn't, he had a livery stable first, and then when people got in cars, they didn't have a garage. So in the early days, they would store their garage and come get it on weekends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They didn't use the car every day.
yeah. And this is my grandpa and my dad in a little shop at 1722 Broadway in 1929. And then this is a shop we had across the street. And then we put a new front in it.
Now this is in Parsons on Broadway?
Yeah, yeah. And here's the machine shop and some of our tools. And then there was a guy named Sam next to this shop. This was just up the top of the hill of the subway that you could get 6 hamburgers for a quarter.
Well, that is a good price. There's your Willard batteries there. There's your little battery operated scooter.
Yeah, and when I got out of college, I went to Wichita and I taught auto mechanics at North High School. Then they only had 2 high schools, and I come back one summer, and this was what my dad's shop looked like. And in 1950, we put one door in the glass, and that's where I had when I came and went back in business with my dad. And these are just some of the motors we wound. And these are just people that work for me.
That's good. That's good. Yes.
So one time I had 18 employees, and I had a parts store, and here we had stalls this side and on the other side, and then this was a parts, and over here were boats and motors, and this is the back of it, so you could drive in from both ways. And then this is when the tornado hit it.
Oh, and that hit your shop.
Dumpster.
That hit your shop, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
This is before and this is after.
Let's see, right here before
And then
after.
Whew, I bought a building on South 16th. I still own it, or 800 South 16th. And we moved a store down there. And then the guy that I sold the business to went broke. And so today, Fastenal Corporation rents it from me. And this is what the building looks like. So that's kind of the story about the Ervins.
Well, that's appreciated. You know, that's, yeah.
Let me tell you about the guy. We'll go over here and look at it.
Okay.
This is a brand new display. Let me turn the light on before you take a picture.
This place is just loaded with stuff. Here we
made, Earl Seifert worked for Acretite Products for years. He's an engineer that made in highway concrete. You know, they put the little things with plugs from one to the other where a joint is.
Okay.
And here's the guy.
Now you're talking about
Yeah.
concrete and
So
plugging them together.
In 1937, he was the Parsons son boy tennis champion.
Parsons son boys.
And then in high school, he made this wooden chest.
Now, who is this? Oh, this is
This is
Seifert.
Don Seifert.
Don Seifert, okay.
Yeah, and Earl Seifert, his brother, worked for Anchortite, and see the center at the Arboretum is named Earl Seifert Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is a guy that just died, and we made all there's all the medals, and I got all the history of all the wars he was in.
River
There's
Division.
a patrol boat at Vietnam that he was on. And
Now, are we still talking about Seifert?
yeah.
Seifert, or we're still talking?
no, this here, this guy is
Is this man right up here, David Larson?
yeah, David Larson, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he was in 2 or 3 wars, and there's all of his medals.
Okay.
And we're just now doing this museum.
This is a new display here.
Yeah, in fact, I still got my drills, because we're going to do some more work on it.
We're still working in here. Good
Yeah.
deal. Oh, look at all the River Division. There's a whole bunch more on a, looks like a biker
and
vest.
This display here has got this jacket,
Yeah.
and I'm getting ready to hang it up where you can see both sides of it.
Uh-huh.
So here's one side,
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's nice.
and then here's the other.
And, okay. A nation which forgets its defenders will.
Yeah. So that'll be hanging up here in the ceiling.
All righty. And there's a nice pea coat.
Yeah.
And this, is this still now Dave Larson then?
Uh,
It looks like he was in the Navy.
yeah, he's in the Navy, and he went to Vietnam, and well, do you want to go over in the other building?
Sure, let's go ahead. Let's go
Okay,
ahead.
Well, the front door's locked, so
I'm going to go ahead. Why don't I go ahead and shut this off and we'll start again over there.
okay.